Iceman. What an awesome character that I feel and many others feel is being wasted. Even during the Krakoan era, I feel like he was wasted just being a supporting character for the most part. Yeah, he was there. We saw little bits and pieces of his life. Certain aspects that people didn't enjoy. Some aspects people didn't really care about. And, I feel personally that his whole maximum potential isn't being realized at all. So let's just talk about it, right? So this is what a better place for a better story video is about, going ahead and talking about the potential and how to realize his character's potential and, share each other's thoughts and opinions on how to reach that. However, I will say that being a supporting character isn't bad. Supporting characters are needed in every story, but I feel like he can be the supporting character and become a pillar of the X-Men and mutant society. First off, let's get things straight, or not, depending on your whole orientation or whatever, right? Since we will be talking about Bobby, there's no real reason not to talk about his sexual orientation, at least just a bit, right? He is gay. Do I care? No. But it seems like he has become a side character who is more lean towards a token gay character for representation's sake, and not even just a good one, like a stereotypical one that sleeps with, tons of people, I suppose, even though he has a boyfriend. The first issue of the Astounding Iceman, confused the shit out of me, kiss a random guy, pimps off to go be with boyfriend. Kind of weird, I'm not gonna lie. Even when he was outed, which by definition, was forced, his older self reaffirming how he felt back in the day just sort of felt more forced, and it just doubled down on this fact of him being gay. And again, do I give a fuck? No. But why didn't they just make him bisexual and not spit on his past relationships? Because of course he was confused, he didn't know how to feel, he wasn't married or anything, right? He was just going with emotions with his relationships in the past. Dunno, but it's comics, and whether he is gay or straight doesn't really matter to me. There's gonna be a whole different continuity, different universe, whatever the fuck that will make him gay, straight, whatever, right? It's never a done deal for me or for the comics in general, so I don't really care. All I care about is the story. And speaking of story, let's talk about Iceman's, which, his own issue of Astonishing Iceman, which only has 5 fucking issues itself, which focuses on Iceman's life post, I don't think it's post. It's towards the end of the Krakoan era, right? And yeah, it focuses on his life as being a hero, dealing with relationships, and mainly his relationship with Romeo, this inhuman who sort of keeps him in physical form, I guess, due to being melted at one of the galas that the Krakoan era normally, hosts. Overall, the comic is just Orcus just trying. Orcus is this human supremacy organization made during the Krakoan era that has been fucking with the X-Men and mutant kind since the whole inception of the Krakoan era. Basically, this organization is just trying to kill Iceman. This entire comic. Ultimately, towards the very end, issue 5, the Cleaner does blow up the Fortress of Solitude the Iceman made for himself and turns him into vapor or gas. And apparently he will return. So yeah, sure, right? To me, the comic is boring. Am I annoyed by him kissing random people? Like I said earlier before, no. We all knew he was gay. We all knew the story. If you expected anything different, you're a dumbass. But it's not something I wanted to see. It's also pretty weird to go ahead and kiss some rando after you go ahead and save him in the first issue. I think it was any person, I think it would be sort of weird. Maybe if it was Iron Man, maybe he could make it slide because everyone knows who he is. But again, if he's married or in a relationship, I'm not too sure if his partner would really appreciate that. So it's still a weird decision to have Iceman do. In my personal opinion, yes, this comic doesn't appeal to me, but I'm sure there will be people out there that this comic appeals to. Not really super interesting to me besides some bits of it. Do I think the LGBTQ inclusion stuff could have been better, especially for Bobby? Yes, of fucking course. There's millions of other ways they could have, had this route going for Bobby, right? but they just didn't do that, of course, because they just said, here, he's gay now. Do I hate it? No. Do I hate the fact that they made him part of the whole community? No, because there are plenty of characters out there who are part of the LGBTQ community, and they're written pretty fairly, pretty good, right? It doesn't matter to me if someone's gay, bisexual, whatever, right? I don't fucking care. All I care about, again, is if the story is written correctly and it comes off as something that makes fucking sense to me. That's all I care about, is if it makes sense to me for the character to be this, to do this, etc. But for me, for Bobby, it's about 50-50. Okay, he's gay and this and that, but there are certain things that I'm just looking at the comic and the whole aspect of it where it feels more token-ish, right? And I just want him to do his own thing, and them go ahead and not just make him just Iceman, the gay X-Men, and just have him just be Iceman, who just in very small text along with other little descriptors. Oh, he's also homosexual. Cool. I don't want him being homosexual being the one big descriptor of who Iceman is. All right, back on topic. The comic had, Iceman rightfully destroy a bunch of villains in his whole path because, he's fucking Iceman. He's fucking busted, duh. But because of his time limit of being solid, because he was fucking melted, of course, it puts pressure on him. And that, along with Orcus getting the cleaner to become a real Iceman killer, like he literally went ahead and chromed the fuck out and just went ahead and upgraded himself to be a real personal killer for Iceman. The end of the issue, which is, issue 5 again, it just felt pretty boring, pretty fast, and, it just ended with mutual destruction for the most part. Honestly, I think the cleaner wasn't really utilized well here. Like, he's batshit crazy with all his enhancements, along with him being, batshit crazy himself. It's just like he's a fun character with what they did here in this series, in this book, comic, of course. I just wish that they didn't just burn him just so quickly in this whole fight. He could have been like the overall villain for the issue, not just Orcus. He could have been the one in charge of fucking him up and, continuously chasing him down as the issues progress. And, anytime he gets quote unquote defeated, he just goes back, upgrades some more, and becomes even harder to fucking take down. So that could have been really interesting for a small little 5-issue series that was the Astonishing Iceman. I think that could have been really cool. And he could have been, really interesting throughout the entire thing. But again, we didn't get that. So it's fine. It's whatever. Hold on. I will say there are some highlights to this. I will say, and I love how they incorporated my boy Spider-Man, the fucking GOAT, in the comic, where he's just there with Iceman helping out, going ahead and seamlessly just helping each other out, being friends, being homies. And it just reminded me of Spider-Man and his amazing friends. Yes, I'm not that old. I'm only 27, but I did grow up on watching this show along with more older shows because of reasons, okay? And ever since I watched that, and I just enjoyed Iceman's appearances in comics and shows and even the movies too. I just enjoyed whatever is Iceman. He's one of my favorite X-Men, and just seeing him now, it's not that I'm disappointed. I just want more for the homie. Bobby has always been a supporting character that can be just as important as the main cast. In certain iterations of the X-Men, he is a founding fucking member. He may be childish and a goofball, charismatic and nonchalant, but these are his quirks. These are part of his life, aspects of him, right? Now, in recent, days, he is now like another quirk, another aspect of him is being gay. But is that really, such an important thing to highlight in almost every issue, right? It's not something that I think a lot of readers will want to, have shown to them all the fucking time, that he is gay and, just the way he acts. To me, in certain aspects, I even see it in like on Reddit and in certain places that he acts sort of like a stereotypical sort of homosexual person. So I'm just looking at it like, I just want more for the homie, right? I don't care that he is, gay, of course, but I want them to at least make it more natural that he is, not, fully into this stereotypical homosexual, person, right? I want him more natural. I just want him to be, nonchalant about that. And he's be like, yeah, I'm just living life with my boyfriend here, just doing things, right? And, that's it. He doesn't, they don't need to explain it anymore. That's it. Bobby also has a past that makes his quirks and how we see him now make a lot more sense, especially with his complex relationship with his family, which in this comic seems to be in on the pretty up and up, seems to be getting pretty positive, which is, pretty good, pretty nice. I like seeing that. I like seeing Bobby having a good relationship with his parents because as we all know, it's always either down fucking hill or just fucking absolutely, fucking crazy, but anyways, how I feel about how Bobby's being written now is, of being disappointed, but I'm not surprised. Writing is not what it used to be, and even the Krakoan era had storylines that ended off with mixed receptions. I'm not saying that like back in the day, storylines were written in like a godly format, but at the same time, a lot of stories that we, adapt nowadays are from back in the day. So that gives, evidence that what they were doing in the past, even though it wasn't perfect for most of the time, it was pretty fucking good. But now everything's either dismissible or decent. And, the ending of the Krakoan era was decent, but overall, I think it made for an amazing arc for the mutant community as a whole. All I'm saying is that now that this Krakoan era is now over, many heroes, many people that we enjoyed seeing throughout the era will now return back to the status quo and sort of just be there or just be put on the back burner and just be support or just be, there, show up for convenience instead of just having an actual purpose. I want actual purpose for Bobby. Like, I could definitely see him using his charm, insight, perspective, and if they just mature him a little bit and make him more than just a hero, more than just support, and be the support, they could do such amazing things with Bobby. Bobby can most certainly become like a counselor or psychiatrist to help students and other mutants as he has firsthand experience with dealing with family drama as being a mutant, living as a mutant before the school even opened, and now you can really add that since he is now part of the LGBTQ community, that he can help in certain aspects in, that sort of direction and give guidance to other fellow mutants in this fucking crazy ass world that they live in. Bobby, as we have seen in the Astonishing Iceman and more current comics, he has a good bit of charisma and heroics to him, and him becoming a pillar of the mutant representation community, being a golden boy of sorts, could be a really big thing for him, where he can be a spokesperson for mutant kind, and I just think him just being like that guy that everyone looks up to could be fucking great. Bobby is also very experienced and powerful, a clutch power player in battles, and I can definitely see him as a teacher for the school and a leader of his own X-Men group. I do think if they want to explore more newer mutants and introduce the next generation, I think with the guidance of the original X-Men and or secondary X-Men members like Colossus, Havoc, Psylocke, and other members that can lead squads, using Bobby as an example of this initiative could be fucking cool. Bobby, I do think, could really be a pillar in the mutant community, and now since the Krakoan era stuff are done, instead of creating their own giant super countries or whatever they were doing, right, that could, negate fucking death, expanding the number of mutant schools out there in the world and using different members of the X-Men to lead them could be really, really, really interesting. Adding schools in Wakanda, Sincaria, on the planet Arakko, for fuck's sake, that acts like a hub for the Iraqi people to slowly assimilate with the people on Earth, and vice versa. Maybe make Genosha an island for more troubled mutant youths. That could really make fucking sense here. The sentient island of Krakoa, which the X-Men can use to house deadlier mutants, is a great fucking idea, I would say. So many options they could do to expand the school outward and advance mutants into a different direction other than what the Krakoan era went for. And Bobby, dear God, Bobby, Iceman himself can be a big part of it. I feel like many of the mutants we care for can have roles outside of being heroes or villains. It's why people love Xavier and Magneto for being great leaders and teachers. They have roles outside of being their own respective hero or villain. For example, look at Scott and Jean, who for the kids act like a parental figure for the younger ones. Wolverine being that uncle who gives out wisdom here and there due to the years, I mean fucking years of being alive and everything he's experienced, could be someone of great knowledge and great actual experience to share. Bobby being someone the kids can truly relate to and confide in makes sense to me. He would run away from his feelings with jokes and being a complete fucking goober, and he is someone who has had the same responses a normal teen would have, running away from their feelings and everything they're trying to get away from, and trying to stay positive even if it feels kind of fake. I feel like he would be a really great character to talk with younger mutants and become someone these younger mutants look up to, and that's the place I feel like Bobby would really fit in. His experiences and who he is can really relate to these kids and give them some sort of guidance, and that would be really lovely to see. I would love to see Bobby just going ahead and coming full circle from being this, goofy goober little fucking kid to going to being a counselor and helping other kids deal with what they're experiencing and what they're feeling, like how he was feeling back in the day and he didn't have somebody for that. I want him to be the person he needed to be when he was a kid. There are many aspects I feel fit Bobby so much: a friend, a colleague, a teacher, a confidant, an idol, a role model, a hero. All these aspects of Bobby, I feel, are something very important to him and should be expanded on in the future in stories down the line. But who knows if this will ever happen or come to pass. What ideas do you guys have for my boy Iceman here to, help expand his repertoire of stories and make him a little bit more interesting? What would you prefer for Bobby's story to go towards? Would be really cool to see a new version of Spider-Man and his amazing friends in current day and age. Would be fucking neat. And yeah, that's been it for this A Better Fit for a Better Story video. Tell me your thoughts, and thank you so much for subscribing and liking and supporting the channel. I hope you guys are having a great day. Stay safe and healthy mentally, emotionally, and physically. See you guys next time. Peace.